Welcome. If this is your first time joining, this video is part of a 12-month healing series. Each month focuses on a different layer of mind, body, spirit alignment. You're welcome to walk the whole year with us or simply take what you need today. Just the fact that you're here right now tells me you're ready to make an important shift in your life. In the first video of this week, we talked about agency as a felt experience, not a personality trait, not confidence, not force. In this video, we're going to look at something much more subtle. How agency is either removed or restored through language. Not just the words you speak out loud, but the words you use internally, automatically, without questioning them. Because long before agency disappears in behavior, it disappears in our language. And language doesn't just describe reality, it structures our experience. That idea is central to neuroscience, psychology, and linguistics, and it's one of the core insights behind neurolinguistic programming. Not as a technique, but as a lens. The basic premise is simple. The way you represent experience in language changes how your nervous system responds to it. In other words, your words shape your sense of choice. I'm going to say that again. Your words shape your sense of choice. Now, let's start with one of the most common phrases people use, often dozens of times a day. I have to. I have to work late. I have to keep going. I have to deal with this. I have to be the strong one. I have to sounds responsible. It sounds adult. It sounds normal. But neurologically and psychologically, it does something very specific. It removes choice. When you say, I have to, your nervous system hears constraint. It hears no alternative. And when the body perceives no alternative, it moves into compliance or resistance, not agency. This matters because agency lives in perceived choice, not objective freedom. Let's slow this down. Say the phrase, I have to, silently to yourself right now. And notice what happens in your body. Most people feel a tightening or a pressure, a forward push or a sense of weight. That's not your imagination. That is your nervous system responding to implied constraint. Now let's compare it to the phrase, I am choosing to. Say it silently. Notice the difference. Even if the situation doesn't change, the body often softens because choice changes physiology. This is not positive thinking. This is state change. One of the most foundational neurolinguistic programming distinctions is the difference between cause and effect language. When you say, I have to because they expect me to, you place yourself at effect. Someone else's expectations are the cause, you are the result. Agency disappears in the effect position. So now listen instead to this reframe. I am choosing to do this because I value stability, even though it costs me something. Nothing external changed, but internally you moved back into cause. You became the chooser again. This doesn't mean you like the choice, it means you own it. And ownership is precisely where agency begins. A huge amount of suffering comes not from what we're doing, but from doing things as if we are powerless. Let's take another common language pattern. I can't. I can't say no. I can't slow down. I can't disappoint them. I can't change this now. I can't often masks fear, not inability, fear of consequence. So we would call this a modal operator of impossibility, language that frames something as not available. But often what people actually mean is I could, but it feels unsafe. These are very different experiences in the body. So now let's make this experiential. I'd like you to take just one thing that you say I can't about and rewrite it as I could, and I'm not willing to deal with the consequences right now. Notice what happens. You may feel discomfort, and that's okay because agency doesn't always feel comfortable, but it does feel true, and truth restores dignity. Another subtle way agency disappears is through generalization, using words like always, never, everyone, or no one. For example, I always end up responsible. No one ever helps me. I never get to choose. These kinds of statements collapse complexity and remove nuance. And when nuance disappears, choice disappears with it. The nervous system only hears certainty, and certainty closes options. Now let's instead try to get specific. Instead of I never get to choose, try asking, when specifically do I feel I don't get to choose? That question alone restores agency because specificity brings options back online. Now let's pause again. Where do you use absolute language to describe your life? Not because it's inaccurate, but because it feels final. That's where agency is most compressed. There's a distinction known as perceptual position, where you are located when you experience a situation. Most people experience their lives almost entirely from first position, inside the emotion, inside the pressure. That can make situations feel overwhelming and inescapable. Agency can increase if you can shift perspective, not to dissociate, but to widen. Now let's practice this gently. Think of a situation where you feel obligated. First, notice how it feels from inside it. Now imagine stepping slightly back, as if you're watching yourself in that situation. What do you notice now? Often when perspective widens, new options appear. Not solutions, but options. Agency does not require solutions. It only requires options. Now let's talk about nominalizations, another subtle language pattern. Nominalizations turn processes into things. For example, I'm stuck. There's no choice. This is just how it is. Stuck sounds like a place, but stuck is actually a process, and processes can change. When something sounds fixed, we ask, how are you doing stuck? And that question alone restores movement. Try it. Take one thing you feel stuck in. Ask yourself, how am I maintaining this right now? This is not blame, this is agency. Because anything you're participating in, even unconsciously, can be participated in differently. Now, I want to be very, very clear about something. This work is not about gaslighting yourself. It's not about pretending circumstances don't matter. There are real constraints, real responsibilities, real consequences. Agency is not denial. Agency is honest participation, saying this is hard and I am choosing how I meet it. That is agency. Many people resist this because they think agency means liking the choice. And it doesn't. Agency simply means owning the choice. And ownership changes how the nervous system carries weight. Now let's connect this to identity. Many people lose agency because they collapse choice into identity. I am the responsible one. I am the strong one. I am the one who handles things. When identity becomes obligation, choice disappears. So let's introduce one more reframe. Take one identity statement you often live from. Rewrite it as a behavior. Instead of I am the responsible one, try I often choose responsibility because it keeps things stable. Feel the difference. Identity traps while behavior gives options. That's not semantics, that's structure. Now, as we close, I want to give you a simple practice for the week. Once a day, notice one phrase where you remove your own choice. I have to, I can't, I don't have a choice. Now rewrite it privately in language that tells the truth about your participation. Not to change the situation, but to change the relationship. Because agency doesn't begin with action, it begins with language that allows choice to exist. And once choice exists in language, the body can begin to feel it. Next week, we will take this deeper into the nervous system, where agency becomes sustainable, not just conceptual. But for now, try listening to your words. They are showing you exactly where choice is waiting to return.